Godzilla Minus One. Is Godzilla Minus One the one we are looking for? Or is it just another wrestling match between guys in rubber suits? No! We can give firsthand accounts, at least I can, I don't know about the monster next to me, since we braved the long lines in the cold, bought the tickets, avoided the popcorn line, all for you to answer the question, is it worth it? In a word, yes. I don't know what I'm going to do with this critter over here. Oh my gosh, what did you actually go out and buy that thing?
Yes. Just for this.
Yeah, and to scare your kids, but we won't talk about that. And now we're going to tell you why we say yes and what, if any, hidden Christian themes are in the movie. And in preparation for this, we took a poll to see what you, the viewers, wanted or reacted to the movie. Assuming that you actually saw the movie, there's no way to verify. This is what the results were as of last night. I think there's a couple more since this morning. But we have 75% say, hey, yeah, this was great. And then 4 stars, 4% for 4 stars, 4% for 3, and 17 for a 2, a 1 star, or a -1 in honor of the movie for Godzilla. And we did, I said we were going to highlight comments. We only had one comment there concerning the movie. You had another comment that was not really concerning the movie, so we're not going to highlight that. And in this, it was from Ryan Schultz, 6345. He said, this was a Godzilla movie I didn't realize I wanted. Character-driven and well-written. 2 things I didn't expect from any other monster movie. I can't recommend it enough. So, okay. So whoever Ryan Schultz is, and I think I know who this is, he gave it a great 2 thumbs up. So what would your rating be?
All in all, if I were to do, are we doing out of 5 stars or out of?
Let's do, I like 10 because 10 gives you more of a granular type.
10 gives you more of a granular. Okay, I'd put this probably at 9.
Would you?
For what it is. Now, remember, this is for what it is. It is a monster movie. It is that sort of aspect of it. I thought it was really well done, all in all. There are some story plot holes. There are some things I think they should have improved on. But all in all, really enjoyable for what it is. Definitely when compared to anything else that was put out this year. I'd say that this is miles beyond most of the stuff I didn't feel that I was being preached to while I was there.
Yes.
With some sort of message that the show wanted to shove down my throat.
Okay. All right. Very good. I would actually give it a 9 also, but overall 9. If I were to say just for being a monster movie, I'd give it a 10. I thought it was that good. I thought that overall there was some suspension of belief on issues and other stuff. My daughter saw it with us, and she said it was a little slow, but I thought
all in all, well, granted, we've been looking at the old Godzilla ones, so I mean, it's definitely a lot more fast paced.
Well, yeah,
those, but it gives a good nod to the old ones.
And I would say, as far as the slow parts, I wouldn't say that's really necessarily slow. I would say it's more of a contemplative. You need some breaks in between, and so yeah, I would say probably for so far for this year, it was the best one I had seen so far. I think this was for you.
Godzilla Mask.
I think this was for you. Yeah, definitely.
Not a sponsor.
We'll bury this outside somewhere after this.
Oh no, this is going to come back eventually.
I'm sure you will. So I had, where is it? Character driven. I would say it definitely would have been a 10 for me based on the other movies of this year. Although we are going to be doing a review come Thursday on a movie I didn't even realize was coming out until this last weekend, and I had heard about it. And this looks actually really good because it's right up my alley for the things that I write. This is like, whoa, this is great, man. And we're going to do a review on The Shift come Thursday. I have no preconceived ideas about this show. I have heard a little bit about the plot, a little bit about what's going on. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to, it may or may not, it may totally flop. I mean, we may go in there and say, yeah, it's a 5. It's not worth it. But so,
no, they got some pretty big actors in that one. And again, this is from Angel Studios, and I've yet to be disappointed from anything coming out of Angel Studios.
right.
I mean, this could be the first one, but their track record's pretty decent. And of course, they got the villain, that actor that's the villain. That's like, he's the villain.
You're talking about I don't know what his name is, but yeah, he's been in, what was the other movie that I remember? He's been in a lot of movies.
He's been in a lot of movies. He's playing
Timeline. He was the bad guy in Timeline.
He's always the bad guy.
Is he? Okay.
Yep. He's always the bad guy in every movie he plays.
We should do Timeline.
He's a really good bad guy.
Timeline is one of my favorite movies. So that'd be a good one to do. That and Frequency. So we got to hit those up. Okay, so Godzilla. This would be. I would suggest this for viewing. I would say definitely get your tickets. It's worth your time.
Yeah.
How would you say for audiences? What audiences would be for?
Same tone as all the other reviews on Godzilla. Be discerning. I wouldn't be taking my 3-year-old or 2-year-old to it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be discerning on that matter. But if it's a teenager, I'd say that's up their alley.
Yeah.
I'd say that it's definitely violent. There are definitely some scenes that are violent. It's not overly gory.
No.
Unlike Shin Godzilla.
No. No, I would say no sex, no nudity, no profanity. The violence and gore were mild. My 14-year-old daughter went with my wife and I, and I don't have to say cover your eyes or anything like that. It was totally fine. So now we're going to break this up into 2 sections, since this is an actual movie that's out there right now. And the other ones were still actual movies, but those are older ones. So we're going to break this up into a spoiler-free section and a spoiler section. And so the spoiler-free section is going to be what we liked and what we didn't like, and then we'll do the same thing with the spoiler section on it. So what would you say were the things that you liked in the movie?
What would I say is things I liked in the movie? It's very character driven.
Okay, we'll stop there. I agree with you that too. What would you say about the characters?
What would I say about the characters? They're all of them have their own struggles in some way, and they're very realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're down to earth. This is not, again, it's not, one of these characters isn't a bulletproof, Mary Sue coming in, saving everyone last second.
So I would say that the Godzilla is not the main character in this movie.
No.
He's more of a force of nature that the characters that you grow to like and root for and not want to see squashed. These are the ones that I think really drive the movie. And when Godzilla shows up, you're like, whoa, he's nasty. And we'll get to him in a minute, but let's just go through some of the characters here. So talk to me about this guy, Koichi. He is a kamikaze pilot, and I'm not going to say much more than that because
I'm like, how much can I give to the spoiler section here? You want to give a diagram on each of these characters?
No, and I'm just going to go through real quick because we're going to talk about some of these names so that you have a face with the names.
He's one of the main characters in this. He would be the foremost character.
Right. And then you have the lead mechanic, Sosaku. I'm probably going to get these names a little bit wrong.
Just remember, he hates the other guy.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, no more said than that, though. Noriko. So you got a love interest here going on, and her face is a little obscure because that is Godzilla in the reflection, and this is her without the Godzilla reflection. Then you have Akiko. I'm not going to tell you much about her, but she is probably one of the cutest kids in this movie. She's adorable. and Sumiko, the nursemaid kind of neighbor, and Captain. We'll just call him Captain. And we'll call him Kid. And of course, you got the Japanese Einstein, Doc. And this guy, I thought he was cool. You know,
Is he your favorite character?
You know what? I think he probably was my favorite character. Believe it or not. You know,
my favorite's still Godzilla, but okay.
Okay, well that works. But you know, Doc was able to. He got his hands dirty. He got on this little fishing boat. He did what he needed to do, and the dude was brilliant. So you know, he's my hero. So the last character that we have is probably supposed to be the hero of the story, Godzilla. Yes. Don't even do that. Okay, so look at this face, though. Look at this. I mean, as far as all the Godzillas go, this is a nasty looking critter. I mean, this is the stuff of nightmares. I mean, he is going to have your neighborhood for lunch without a second thought. And he goes chasing these guys. He goes chasing these guys on this. Would you please? I cannot take you seriously like this.
Really?
So yes, this is all serious here. So
it's all serious.
So completely serious here. We're talking about a serious review. So he is chasing these boats, this little boat. They got this little wooden boat, right? And there's reason for this boat, and I'm not going to tell you why in the story. It's going to be a spoiler. But he's chasing them down, and we got a scene we're going to show you. It's this eyes looking at him. It's awesome. He's incredible. It's scary. He's about to chew their legs off. Wait. Wrong one. Okay. So yes, you see him here. What's he doing? I mean, it's well done. Okay.
So the whole clip here. We have a clip from it. This is from the trailer, so there's no spoiler.
Yes, and this is no fishing boats. No fishing boats.
Don't do fishing boats.
And this should not be a copyright strike, guys. No copyright strike. Okay.
And so, again, that would be absolutely terrifying.
It would. You are on the seat of your pants. On the seat of your pants, on the edge of your seat.
On the edge of your seat of your pants. Whatever you want to do.
I'm sitting on my pants. It was so scary. So, yeah, and then, so, of course, you have other scenes with Godzilla like this. He was a boss. So, one other thing that I liked. So, these are things that we liked that were in the show that were spoiler free. Then they also had a prototype fighter aircraft that was in there.
Now, that's really cool because, again, if you're familiar with World War II history, this is something that was not seen in the field, but this is something that they were working on. This was
actual plane, yes,
and this was real.
Yeah,
so this was cool.
I looked this up. This is the Kaiju J7W Shinden prototype interceptor. It's nicknamed Magnificent Lightning. Prototype fighter plane with wings at the rear of the fuselage. And I'm gonna put up this is an image of one of the actual ones. You can see how close this is to the one that was in the show that they had, the movie. It had wings at the rear of the fuselage, a nose-mounted canard, and a pusher engine. The propeller was on the back of it. It was developed by the Imperial Japanese Navy as a short-range land-based interceptor as a way to fight off the Boeing B-29 Super Fortress air raids on the islands of Japan towards the end of the war. The Shinden was expected to be highly maneuverable. It was never really fully tested, and only 2 prototypes were made. So, any other things that you want to add to say that you liked in the movie? Because there's a couple of things that I would say I did not like.
Really like the design of Godzilla himself, including, one second here, including Is atomic breath. It's a little charge up for atomic breath. I thought this was very interesting.
Yeah.
Slam down and boom.
Wow.
Just absolute annihilation. Again, he is a force of nature coming through.
Okay.
Doing this destruction.
Yeah, I was gonna say, stop it right there. So yeah, it was pretty well done. Now I guess the downside to that atomic breath is you can see when he's going to fire because it kind of revs up and he's got the on it fins and back.
Almost like he's charging up for release of this, which is probably what's going on if they're doing actual biology or anything like that.
Yeah, in the real world, that you couldn't really do that. That wouldn't really happen. You want to put that up there?
Sure,
Dr. Crazy Hair.
Crazy hair. Oh, it's the crazy
hair. Einstein. You know someone's intelligent, super intelligent, understands relativity if they wake up and they have bad hair days. You know that. It's a sign of intelligence.
I would agree, but I think you're up a creek without a paddle.
Yep. Okay, so any other things you can say before we hit the spoilers? Because
spoilers. No, recommendations high, violence, gore, medium.
It's
and
good.
All in all, it's good. It's a really enjoyable movie.
All right. Spoiler alert. We are now in spoiler zone. Things we didn't like. Or things we did like. Sorry. Things we did like.
They're in the spoiler zone area.
We are in the spoiler zone, so you can say stuff. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, you want to see it, please go away. I don't want to ruin it for you.
And come back later.
We
can reconvene.
One thing I did like is this was not a typical Japanese movie or show because
no great tragedies.
Happy ending. It really had a happy ending. I like seeing it, it was good.
Typical would have definitely been at least one, if not both, the main characters dying.
Yeah. Would you say there's anything else spoiler like that you did like about the movie that
I did like about the movie all in all? That's about it. I mean, we
covered everything.
The beginning this is a Godzilla film, and this is a well done Godzilla film. It's very similar to the original as far as the style and the concepts go, as far as what's being put into there. It's a lot more character driven. It's a lot more the characters themselves have to struggle with a lot of issues. You have a lot of definitely the American character has the issue with
now Koichi, I would like to kick his butt sometimes because the guy was so guilt-ridden that he was okay. And this is a problem. This is a problem with both the government that they had there, and sometimes their culture is very much like this, not wanting to lose face so much that not wanting to take a risk. And he didn't take the risk with Noriko, and nearly lost her. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take the risk to fire at the beginning at stupid mini Godzilla when he had the chance, and with his guns, who knows? Maybe he would have taken him out, and then he had to live with the guilt afterwards. Seriously, at the beginning, I wonder if he would have been able to take him out. Because
that's something he's got to live with. I mean, it does do a really good job on painting needing to deal with that, because he's got not only the weight of everyone they let die on the island, but then everyone that has died since then because of Godzilla that he could have stopped at the beginning.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of issues coming back from war, dealing with this. At the same time, he's got the mark of shame of being a failed kamikaze pilot.
Now, these are actually good things. So I want to touch on some bad things, and then what this is like. Come on, dude, get out of your comfort zone here and take some courage.
Yeah, but I think it's very realistic.
It was. He was a failed kamikaze pilot. He did not do what he was supposed to do, and everybody hated him for it when he came back. So then I can understand, and I think it was realistic with that too. And coming back to Tokyo, and it's like in ruins. What are you going to do? I mean, you feel bad for him. But I'm going to come back to that in a minute because there was another thing I didn't like about it. Now, remember, I gave this a 10, and I thought they did a good job, but there are some things to punch out. One thing is no diversity inclusion or equity. None.
No, almost like they kept it to a historical
There were no
standard.
ethnic minorities here. Come on. Okay, Japan. Who would have been an ethnic minority in Japan? There was none of that. I did not see any female fighter pilots here. What's wrong with these people? You know? So,
Almost
of course,
like they
I'm
had
joking.
integrity with the show.
Yeah, they're showing it for what it is, right?
Oh,
and it
it's
was
so
good.
much-
It was
so
good.
refreshing.
So, now, of course, that was a joke. And another joke that I would say here too, and this is a tongue-in-cheek. You were not safe outside the cities. They showed.
No,
They showed.
no,
They
the poor
showed-
farm.
They showed Godzilla take out a farm.
Never mind. Never mind our
my
suggestion.
my
Let's
safe
take out the
space
city.
is gone. All right. So,
Yeah, just as Godzilla's there, don't be in Japan or New York.
or yeah, well,
Or in
you might be
Los
safe
Angeles.
now. Okay.
Just say in the middle where there's no ocean.
Okay. So another one. Now this is true. This is a true criticism I would have about it. It stretched credulity at several places. Now this is a monster movie.
Mary,
This is-
say you bought the ticket to a monster movie.
I know. Okay, so I already suspended belief about Godzilla, and you could kind of expect this with either disaster movies or Godzilla movies or whatever, but I couldn't suspend my disbelief about a couple of things here. One was Instatech. How did they create and test the Freon dispensers in time? It was like no time flat. They had these things available.
Yeah, because their time limit was 10 minutes, 10 days.
Yeah, and basically no time. They got to create. Come on, people. And this is in a destroyed nation. They have no infrastructure at that point. How are they going to be? Now this has been a couple of years after the end of World War II. But even then, they're not going to be able to do this. Okay.
They'll still have to deal with a lot of stuff. So yeah,
That was number one. Number two was Insta J7W pilot. He was a pilot in a Zero. He knew how to fly a Zero, right? But put him in that prototype, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I do a couple of jigs, and then I got it." It's like, no, that was a little Mary Sue there. That was now.
a little bit.
I understand they're not going to be able to take months and years to develop the Freon things. They're not going to be able to have him train for a couple of months with the fighter, the prototype. Okay, I understand that. So anyway, not a huge thing. I say we're still up at a 10. Do you have anything else that you want to add as far as any kind of nits?
Nope, not
Because
really.
I got a big one. I got a big one here. Okay.
Okay.
And I know that you and I are probably going to disagree about this, but I would say that the attitude was, and there was something going on with Japan here too, as a nation, thinking that the war was something that just happened to us. It's passive. You have to remember, Japan was very active in the war, and there were some really nasty things that went on. They had the notion that Japan was the Japanese were a superior race. Imperialism was driven by a divine mission referred to as the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere to liberate Asia from Western influence. Japan was aggressive in territorial expansion in the 1930s, which included the invasion of Manchuria in 1931, subsequent invasions into China, into Southeast Asia, Philippines, and Indonesia, the Nanking Massacre, inhuman treatment of POWs and civilians, experiments with biological and chemical weapons on prisoners and civilians, the infamous 731 experiments in Manchuria, forced labor, comfort women, the Bataan Death March in the Philippines. So, the main characters, Koichi, Noriko, and Akiko, the girl, would not have had the burden of all that upon them. However, that would have been, the people who were in charge there afterwards. There's no real reflection on maybe we really shouldn't have done this. This war wasn't just something that happened to us. We kind of did this. We're kind of responsible. And that was seen in the character and the position of the kamikaze pilot, who was the main character. And there was a real uneasy feeling thinking I'm rooting for a kamikaze pilot. Now, in his situation. Now, yeah, you want to defend him at all?
I just think that someone in that position would have gone to do this as an obligation, as a family obligation. They would have put that on him. He would have been expected to do it, would have been expected to serve in it. And I don't know how much of this would have whittled down to the individual kamikaze pilot. I think they chose to focus more on the individual effects of it than the global scale effects of it.
I think you're right. And I think that's where I would give a lot of grace here in saying that it really doesn't have, the individual characters that we fell in love with in the movie. Are they individually responsible for the acts of terror that their government had done, even though they are the individual instruments for it? There's a really big question here. It's like, oh my gosh, how guilty is the individual soldier for doing things within a non-just war? I mean, is America guilty for any of this as well? But those are bigger questions outside this. It just, because this was at the end of a war and all these other things happening, it did kind of bleed into it a little bit. So I was wondering. Okay, I'm done with my rant. Any other negative things that you want to say before we get to the next section?
No, I think that was about it.
Okay.
I think that's
again.
good.
I love the movie, love the characters. I was rooting for them. I did not want to see them squashed. The only character I was not rooting for was Godzilla. I did.
Oh, I liked Godzilla. I thought he was again a force of nature. He wasn't evil upon himself, and I think that's what they played off well. He wasn't just doing this because he wants to do this. Again, I think the symbolism of a lot of other things that were going on,
right,
that they're pulling through again.
Yep. Okay, so hidden Christian themes. Based on this review, do you see any Christian themes within the movie?
Forgiveness, being able to forgive yourself, I think, is a critical one in this.
With Koichi?
Yeah, the main character was not able to forgive himself for a long time. He was holding on to the past, letting the past rule him. And Christians can do the same thing with our past sins. We can hold the past sins against ourselves even when we have been forgiven of them. Now, I'm not saying that we forget those. I'm saying that we keep those in mind, but we allow ourselves to move forward.
Don't let, and it's not just for him. It was also for the nation too, because the government, it was the people themselves that had to come together, right? It was the civilians that pulled together at the end to defeat Godzilla. The government was frozen in either bureaucracy or fear. And I think it had a lot to do with, again, the fear of losing face, of making a wrong decision after all these bad decisions that were made. So as the people themselves had to come together. So Koichi was a bit of a mirror of Japanese society, I think, at the time there too. It's like, what are we going to do? We're broken, just a broken people. That's a very good point. I think the message of collaboration then too, again, we see this with a lot of the Godzilla movies, the civilians coming together at the end, is what the church should look like. The church is the people. It's not the institution, it's the people that are coming together and act as a body to get the job done. How about, and you said the importance of family.
Importance of family, being able to, this really did have, although they didn't end up getting married, they were just kind of thrown into the situation and kind of making the best that they can of the issues. If he would have been able to forgive himself and move on, then he would have been able to marry her and have this family together. But yeah, it does show a mom, a dad, a kid, and their struggles. And you know what? The main character put on himself the role of dad, even though he wasn't technically in that role.
Yeah.
I mean, taking on, going to get paid from anywhere, taking on risky jobs just to be able to provide for his family, putting himself in danger in order to make sure the kid and the woman are taken care of.
Right. Yeah. There's something really deep said. Koichi, even though he it was struggling with guilt for his lack of courage, he did take courage in defending her. Just talk about honor. He did have a whole lot of honor, providing for her, providing for the child. Real sense of humanity there. I mean, I think that what really endeared me to his character, that he
yeah.
was able to do this. I just wanted him to break through and marry the woman because they were such a cute couple. So
I think it's also really it touches on the topics of survivor's guilt. Dealing with that aspect. He came home, his parents are dead, his family's dead, his home is gone. He literally has nothing. And even his neighbor is crapping on him because he's, again, failed kamikaze pilot. So she doesn't have any respect for him at the beginning.
No.
And it's just, man, you feel bad for this guy coming back.
Anytime he mentions that he was a kamikaze pilot, he gets like, they are down on him. It's like, what, you're still alive? You could have saved us all. That was kind of the attitude.
Which wouldn't have actually affected anything. But
he does show courage here at the end when he faces, and this, I think, is a really, really, really good message, especially for us to, what's that? It's okay. I think we're there. Y'all know that we're in spoiler territory now, right? This is like way down in the bayou. You hear the banjo going. It's dangerous down here. So you got this guy, Koichi, goes against him. And, you know, bad breath dude himself, destroyer of cities. He goes against him in this little tiny aircraft. All right. Talk about courage. He does finally take that and go for it. And I think, and we mentioned this in a previous one too, this is a very important message to our culture who have gone through COVID and have been so fearful of so many things, just in petrified. Not wanting to speak up, not wanting to speak out, not wanting to go out because of any little thing that could possibly hurt you. Instead of saying, take care when we leave people, we should say, take courage. And I'm speaking as specifically to the Christians out there. You know what? You got to be willing to lose your job for the sake of Christ. You got to be willing to lose everything. You have to have that courage. In fact, that's a requirement in the Bible. You know, how many times did an angel appear or something which says, have no fear? You got Joshua going into the promised land. It says, take courage, step out. And you have the parable of the talents, where the ruler comes to each one of them and says, well, what have you done with the money I gave you? And the guy who had one talent said, well, I heard that you were a mean manager, so I was afraid, so I buried it. And he looked and said, you wicked servant. And this is an accusation that we got to be careful of. Don't take the easy road out. Don't take the shortcut. Don't hide inside. Take courage. When you have a mission, do it. You know, he had to fight this guy. And Jesus faced the cross. Take courage. That's a charge for all of us. So, sorry. I think we'll leave on that one. Coming up next, we have tomorrow, we're going to talk about, where did Jesus say, I am God, worship me? And then on Wednesday, taking that Jesus said that he is God, was he a lunatic, liar, or Lord? You don't have much of a choice. It's one of those three. If he declared himself God, it's going to be one of those. Take your pick. And then on Thursday, we have our review of the movie Shift. And I'm looking forward to that. I know you are too.
It should be a good one.
Yeah, this is really going to be good. And we'll see how it competes with Godzilla on the best show of the year, at least in our opinion, for what it's worth. And we'll go from there. So thank you for joining us. And until next time, take courage.